This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boatyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Try the John Bain sandwich on your next visit. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snow blowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area, and we offer a senior citizen and veteran discount.
Iowa Technology Systems delivers professional IT services. From company networks to home computers, we keep you connected with reliable service you can trust. Enterprise IT services, quality computers, and local IT support. All designed to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit www.iowatechsys.com to see how our services can help you.
They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. I'm back at the Henry County Courthouse in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. The Henry County Board of Supervisors held their weekly meeting. Their agenda makeup, the look, has a new look, and I will include it in the description of this program episode. Board of Supervisors Steve Detrick wants to explore the dismantling of the County Compensation Board. Please note the elected officials get to pick their own representatives to lobby or recommend their raise. Remember, truth equals freedom, and freedom isn't free. What price are you willing to pay for that freedom? Meetings like this are part of the great American experiment. Our country is turning 250 years old this year. How are you honoring that? Are you a freedom-fighting patriot, or are you something else? I'm on the side of freedom, and so are most of you in my audience. God bless America.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks everybody for showing up. We start off with item number one, the pledge of, or the roll call of members.
Alrighty, so Detrick.
Here.
Mark.
Present.
Lundeen. And White.
Here.
Okay.
Second item is entertain a motion to adopt and accept the consent agenda as printed. That would include the board minutes of January 15 and the financial claims disbursement report dated January 22nd, 2026.
Motion to approve the minutes of January 15, 2026.
Would be a second.
Second that.
All in favor of consent agenda adoption, indicate by aye.
Aye.
Aye. How did you get that? We'll typically do votes on all of them, and
Roll call,
yeah, roll call votes on all. So they were all three.
All ayes.
Second item is unfinished business. Point number A is Department Budget Reviews received. I just wanted to let everybody know that we've received the budget discussions and everything with Public Health, Secondary Roads, the Auditor's Office, Treasurer's Office, Recorder's Office, Conservation Department, and IT to date. We still have a couple scheduled here, and we'll get them done first of next week on Tuesday, we'll
And tomorrow.
get them finished up, and tomorrow, yeah. But we'll finish up on the 27th of next week.
And just to clarify what Chad was saying there, tomorrow is at 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's not 9. For some reason, we can't get things upgraded here, so, and it is posted out on the bulletin board, so 8 o'clock in the morning. And there are several in that category, so as you look at that, you'll see that there are probably 7 or 8 different budgets that we'll review.
Okay. Then bullet point number B, or letter B, is Friends of Oakland Mills contract update. Steve?
Yes, good morning. Preserve Oakland Mills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, Friends of Oakland Mills. Steve Davis is kind of the head of that, the spokesman for that and everything. Have you heard anything more about that or anything? Where are we at on that process?
Well, we did get the revised contract with the language that was requested. I believe that was just after the first of the year, so that was forwarded to the county. The supervisors, I was told, received a copy of that along with the county attorney. So, and they did add some language in there stating that Henry County was not financially liable or liable in any way for the scope of work that we were going to complete with the engineering's report. So,
Or ongoing maintenance works or
Correct.
anything of that nature,
Correct.
so. Okay, was that investigative review by the engineer gonna take place near future?
correct, that we wanted to get on the schedule for 2026. Yes, correct.
Do you guys know anything different or further on that issue?
Nothing other than that.
So
Yeah.
are we waiting for signatures then from our county attorney or a sign off? Is that
Yeah, I
what
was
we're-
hopeful that, based off of the fact that we had forwarded the revised contract a couple weeks ago, that we would be getting an approval to move forward with signatures.
And my last action on that was they got that after we got that information. I shared a letter with them wanting to make sure that, you know, where they knew where the county stood on it, that we didn't have money to fund this. We wanted to make sure that the Friends of Oakland Mills were financially held to that it wouldn't fall back on the county or anything, or the county conservation
And
department.
that was between supervisors and Kirkham Michael?
That was
Or no?
between communication with the county attorney's office, so.
Okay, okay.
And if you have not received it, I'll check after this meeting, I'll do some checking on that, so.
Okay. Yeah, we would just, I mean, they're patiently holding for us. We were hoping to get that
Well, I
contract
knew
signed,
you
obviously,
wanted
by
to
the
get
end of the
some
year. It's not impacting anything as far as being able to move forward with the contract. They're holding their pricing and their agreement with us based off of
More of a
what we.
scheduling type.
Correct. Yeah, so we just want to be able to try to obviously get the approval from the county or the blessing from the county. I mean, the intent originally when we came here was just to kind of inform you of our intentions. Obviously, there were some concerns there that we needed to shore up. We felt like we've met those obligations now with the additional language in the contract, and therefore we'd like to be able to at least get to the point where we've got a vote if that is required, so that we can get that signed and start moving forward on that. So,
And I don't think there was anything that we had to sign off on. I think it was just the review of it, so.
will it take a vote by the supervisors, or once we feel like the county attorney's reviewed it and the language is appropriate, then we're okay to go ahead and move forward at that point in time? How will we finalize that?
I'm sorry?
How do you wanna do that? Mark, do you have any background on that?
Yeah, I
No,
don't,
I've never had, nothing on this has ever come in my tenure here, but, I would just feel more comfortable if the county attorney gives us this approval, and we would be meeting next Tuesday, and if we should have it by then, we can just say, we'll have a motion to approve the forward work with, Friends of Oakland Mills.
Okay. So Chad, you're gonna follow up with the
Yep,
county attorney?
I'll get that underway so it's in letter form and a response can be made.
And then we should just receive a notification back by either email or.
I'll be in touch.
Okay. Very good, thank you for your time. Thanks, Steve.
Any other unfinished business? None listed here. Moving to new business.
Pfeiffer Sawmill, your local home for kiln-dried lumber and affordable trailer decking to your specifications, all in Rome, Iowa, serving Mount Pleasant and all surrounding areas. Do you like to throw a hatchet? They've got your board. Call Ben today at 319-931-4544. Did you know that I'm not only one of your favorite podcasters, or even your favorite podcaster, but that I'm an author too? That's right. I'm the author of this book right here, Christy's Journey, The Beat Goes On. This is a true story about my daughter and my family. Back in June of 2019, my daughter Christy, at 29 years old, experienced cardiac arrest while at work at her job in Northeast Texas. The Lord lined up angels to save her, from her fellow employees to first responders to the doctors that figured out what was wrong. It was quite a journey. It turns out that Christy was born with a birth defect in her heart, something her mother and I never knew. Her pulmonary artery was on the wrong side of her heart. Christy was saved, and our entire family is eternally grateful and thankful. I would tell our story to different people, and I would say, the Lord has a plan for us, but I'm not smart enough to know what that is. So many times people would respond to me that I should write a book. Well, I'll tell you, it was the best thing that I could have done, and I hope you are interested in checking it out. If so, it's in lots of libraries in Iowa and in Texas. If you would like to have your own copy of our inspirational experience, you can get it online wherever books are sold, or go to BoBainDesigns.com and get it for $13.57, which is over $3 off the retail price.
Engineer Hotchkiss.
I have just a couple things here.
No fences will be in place after the place?
What now?
No fences gonna be in place?
Yeah, I don't think so. We can be optimistic. Okay. I'll go ahead and read it. The first item is a motion here, so I'll read it. Motion for January 22nd, 2026, 2-2026-20, that the following dates for the Henry County Dust Control Program be approved. April 16th, the applicator's listing to the county engineer's office. May 6th, starting date for application, weather permitting. It is further moved that the Henry County Board of Supervisors set the following annual fees per individual wanting to have dust control. $25 annual fee if requested before April 15th each year. $50 late fee if requested after April 15th each year.
Man, you got that read before I even pulled it up. I must be really slow.
I'm just fast.
I'll make that motion that we approve this, motion.
I second that.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Discussion on that?
I think we've had adequate discussion when you
Yeah, I
brought it
think
up to us the first time.
Yeah, I think this is all a result of the conversation we had, so that we can increase that late fee, and hopefully that will drive that to zero in the near future.
And that, the $25 fee will be added to the applicator's cost. I mean, when we, like, when someone wants.
Correct, so
business,
if they come after April 15th, the vendor would need to let the applicant know that, hey, this will be now $75, because it's 50 plus 25.
But with the 15 will be included with his first fee. When we get something back from Bins and Stevens.
See if I'm following you, so.
We're gonna pay $25 to have it.
Yep.
Done, but that will be, Bins and Stevens will include that in their fee, it will not be directly to.
Yeah, it's included unless you do self-applied, yeah, the vendor takes care of
And
adding
make
that
sure
to
we
their
have that
bill, yes,
straight.
correct, and that's how we did it last year.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Yeah, thank you.
As long as they apply by the 15th, and then anything after that is a late fee.
Yep.
Right.
No further discussion on it. Been motioned and second. We'll move towards a roll call vote on resolution 02-2026-20, the approval for dust control dates and fees.
Alrighty, Detrick,
Yes.
Lundin,
Yes.
and White.
Yes.
Okay, maintenance update. The big focus this week has been brush, with the colder temperatures and different things like that going on. We've been working there on that, J20, near Lexington Avenue. We've actually progressed to the east, going up the hill, and, we're wrapping up the tree removal. We still have to get rid of the trees or get them burned and cleaned up. We did have a couple call-ins for trees that were down with the wind, so we had to divert some crews to go help with that, and obviously with this, what's coming, we may have more, or there'd be a potential for us to get called out over the weekend with a tree that could be down on the road.
So, excuse me, so on J20 there, everything that you see on the north and south side of the road where the flags are, that's your right of way that you're pulling everything out of there?
Or a temporary agreement that we have with a landowner. So some of those there on the south side, we worked with the landowners to get like a 25, I think it's 20 or 25 foot extra, because those were actually leaning over the roadway.
Right.
And it's part of like, what it looks like was part of the original construction. They had an easement there, a temporary easement to do some shaping, and that's what we're after. So we didn't remove all the stumps, we cut some, and then some areas where we could, because we didn't necessarily want to disturb everything, but we've agreed to reseed what we've disturbed.
There's some pretty big piles there.
Yeah, there were some pretty good sized trees on there in areas, so, yep.
Have we ever looked on a right of way to see if those trees are harvestable along those right of way areas and see if there's any value there?
That gets brought up every once in a while. I mean, to be honest with us, the biggest issue is just the coordination of doing that and the cost of, slowing our work down. So I think for our crews to move in and do it, we can remove that. Now, if the landowner has the option, we're doing it temporary and they want to. I think on the temporary side of what we're looking at, there was nothing really substantial. The bigger trees that you're talking about were down lower. There was a couple of larger cottonwoods that were on that back slope. And that would be up to the landowner if it's outside the right of way. But as far as in the right of way, no, we have not. It does come up, but again, it's a coordination thing, and then the proper process to get prices and then trying to coordinate timing and stuff. We just have not wanted to do that.
So all that stuff that you're doing now, then, are you gonna reshape those ditches and that right of way area?
It is mainly just cleaning off and then some reseeding, so typically we do some hydro seeding on that, but if we leave the stumps in there and stuff, we're not really wanting to open those up any more than we have to.
Okay.
And that's a case by case, so that, I'm giving you kind of, those are the general parameters that we're looking at going up that one hill. There'll be other times where, hey, it does make sense for us to reshape the back slope depending on what we have for site condition.
Okay. Thank you.
Shop and territory sheds. So the other thing, when we're dealing with cold weather, we're spending a little more time just kind of organizing, cleaning. It's a good time of the year for us to make sure our territory sheds are cleaned up, and some of our outlying sheds at the shop that we're cleaning. So these colder days like this, instead of putting them out there, I don't really want to have them out there with chainsaws cutting up on the temperatures that we're talking about. So that's what they've been working on. And then the territory operators have been working on gravel roads. Again, we're still just working on moving those windrows around, and obviously it's frozen now, but they're going around touching things up, checking their routes, and making sure things are looking good. Miscellaneous and construction, this here Fremont Avenue, we sent a press release out yesterday. I saw it, it's been making the rounds. So this will be east of Franklin Avenue. We're gonna start a bridge removal on Monday. That's what they're targeting. Traffic control is gonna come set that up. Obviously, there's some pretty cold temperatures. Contractor says they're gonna come in and start tearing out the bridge. That's their goal for next week, is to get that removed. And then temperatures are supposed to start improving, so their plan would be is to then work on the concrete footings and the foundation. There are rules like and guidelines that we have so that they aren't putting, the new structure against frozen material. So they're aware of that, so that may slow the project up, but this allows them to get in and get started on it. So again, we're saying that project will take 6 to 8 weeks, and again, that's weather permitting. So they will have probably about a month to do their work, and then we would have to follow up with them to do the backfill. And one of the ways we're gonna handle this one is the fill that we put in the roadway is actually gonna be material from our quarry, so it's not gonna be frozen material that we're dealing with. We're gonna be using some older rock and stuff to get that compacted, and it helps with settlement issues that we have in the roadbed. So it is gonna be a work in progress. It might be one where we get it good enough to open to traffic, and then when it warms up more, we come back and finish up the project the rest of the way with site work and stuff like that. So again, the real reason why we allow this is it works in the contractor schedule. We got a really good price on that work to be done as far as what we're looking at our estimates and stuff. So. 235th Street Bridge, contractor's still removing beams. It's kind of a process. They pull them off, pull one length off, and then they cut it up. They're hoping to have all the beams off by the end of next week, if weather permitting. They are gonna shut down the rest of this week with the weather that's coming in, so they won't be working tomorrow out there at those temperatures. And then we did receive notice of retirement from Rob Quinn. He's our IRVM manager assistant, and we will be posting that job. So we did put in his date for March 31st, and then we're gonna proceed with trying to get that position filled. So, I've been working with Paul, so Paul's in the loop on our process.
You're reading my mind, aren't you?
Yeah, well, it's not coming. Catching up. But yeah, Paul's been involved, so I sent an email, he said that, good to go, so.
So his actual termination date is the 21st of March?
March 31st.
31st,
Yep.
okay.
So that's his date of, and a lot of that is, it's not so much of a big deal for us, other than we need to know, when not to expect him anymore, but it's more about his retirement planning date that he sets that up for IPers and things like that.
So that's his end date. Is there a final date other than the 31st of March?
No,
Like,
that
is
will
there-
be the last day that he would work for the county. He's got vacation and comp time stuff that he has the option to get lump sum, or he'll use some of that during that period.
Okay, so that's gonna be my next question. Okay. I like it when you do that.
Yeah. Okay. That's it, unless you guys got questions for me?
That's right.
That's right.
Very good, thank you.
Planning and zoning, Joe Buffington.
Pass one over there. Just one page. Again, today I'll guess is, the two residential permits, verified setbacks for a couple of upcoming projects, residential projects. Got one minor subdivision on the way right now, haven't done any for this month yet.
But that's coming.
Yeah, as soon as the surveyor gets finished with some of the details on it, I haven't got the official plat yet.
Is that something you're gonna share with your board?
Yeah, as soon as I actually get it.
Okay.
We're going back and forth on a couple of details on the language on the plat, but as soon as they've got that worked out, we'll pass it on. No floodplain permits. I did have a question on some construction in the floodplain, and determined that they will need a floodplain permit when they move forward with that project. Issued one address, help the assessor and auditor's office, making a determination on disposition of deed transfer.
Is that multiple or just a single?
That's a single deed.
Okay.
There was a unusual language, and some previous transfer language that made it a little ambiguous, so we had to go through it a little farther back than the normal process to make sure we have the correct ownership going forward. There was a correction made by the attorney, and it would have made it easier if they shared what they were doing with us, but they didn't. So we had, it was a little bit of a puzzle, but we got it figured out. This is a similar, help the assessor's office determine the intent of a deed to split property. There was again I'll call it a clunky legal description that isn't incorrect, but.
Is that what you want us to put in the notes, like clunky?
Yeah, you can call it clunky, that's,
Okay.
that's probably as good as, not an incorrect description, but one that makes it a little harder to determine than just reading it the first time through. You've got to really kind of concentrate on it to figure out what their intent was.
Okay.
Did one plat of survey, they're surveying off a house for an auction that's coming up. For the same auction, I've had multiple phone calls about, permitted uses, what you can do on that auction land, and can you further split it in the future, and things like that.
Is this a private auction or
Yeah,
private
it's a
ownership?
private.
Okay, it's not like a county owned?
No, nothing like
Okay,
that,
right,
it's
so
just,
it's all private.
you got people who don't make, before the auction, they wanna know what they can do,
Right.
and so on.
Okay.
had some nuisance questions about some previously damaged property. We're still looking into that. There's storm damage that's been there for quite a while, that hasn't been repaired, so we're looking in to see what, if anything, the nuisance ordinance can do about that.
Do we have a process on that nuisance ordinance?
Yeah, that's the process, is it comes to me, I look at it, see how it falls within the ordinance, and decide what, if anything, we can do.
Okay.
And then,
Whether we do something and assess it back to the value, or?
well, I mean, there's nothing, that's up to the assessor. I mean, we either
Or
tell
assess
them,
it back to the
we
treasurer?
either tell them, we either tell them they need to repair the damage to bring it back to within what the nuisance ordinance would require, or we could say it's beyond repair and it needs to be removed because it's a public nuisance, things like that.
Okay.
At that point, I turned it over to the county attorney's office, because they would have to effect the removal of property.
Okay. And you've got that process documented, so someday your replacement will know how that works?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the process that is actually laid out in the ordinance itself, so.
Okay.
I had a homeowner, going to sell property, went to question some, the property lines, which aren't correct, but they're also not correct because of a problem on his end. We've identified that for him, and then he's gotta take that back to his attorney and surveyor, and they've gotta clean that up. It's nothing that we can, it's not correct, but it's nothing that we can fix until there's more documentation coming from him. So we've pointed him in the right direction.
Okay.
We had new photography in the spring of '25. We're finally getting to identifying accretion and avulsion along waterways, adding and subtracting property from both sides of the waterways, and changing taxable acres depending on how much movement there's been in the waterways since the last photography.
Okay. This is something we talked about a while back, so yeah, that makes sense. Understand what you're saying there. Is there's a distance, right, a given distance in the state code of the ordinance from the waterway?
No, it's just, I mean, if it's moved a hundredth of an acre, I don't think we'll probably change it, but it's somewhat of a judgment call, how much it's moved.
Okay.
If it's moved a half an acre, and then you also have to determine if it's accretion or avulsion, if that makes a difference. Avulsion's a little harder to determine from a single photograph. You kind of have to go back to evidence to see, was the movement gradual over time, or did it happen? Say there was a flood and the channel moved overnight, the ownership doesn't change. The waterway changes, and that owner may own on both sides of the waterway. Whereas if it moves slowly, the ownership moves with the movement of the water. So it just kind of depends,
Okay.
somewhat evidence-based. And last, I'm keeping track of Senate Study Bill 3009, that would effectively eliminate township trustees. And I'm watching it just for the cemetery ordinance that I'm working on, because it would significantly affect how we would deal with cemeteries. So until we get a little more direction, I'm not gonna push too much more on that cemetery ordinance, because this would have a pretty significant effect if they pass it. Right now, it hasn't got a subcommittee or anything, so I don't know how much traction it has. So I'm just kind of monitoring it to see what.
So can you just expand on it just a little bit? How is that gonna impact that and change it then?
Well, it'll turn
Over to the county?
over to the county and how we deal with it. That, right now, the ordinance I'm working on kind of interacts with the township trustees and how they do things, which this would give the entire operation to the county. We have to determine, how the county's gonna do it, who's gonna do it. The township trustees do a lot of things I'm not sure that the legislature really knows at this point. Opening graves and things like that. So that's just kind of a one day at a time thing. We'll see how it moves. It's a fairly large bill, and it covers a whole bunch of stuff, but
But it doesn't impact private cemeteries?
no, it would only impact the township.
township cemeteries.
This would eliminate trustees entirely?
The way I usually do that, yeah, turn over the fire districts and.
Oh, that's something back there. Good.
Sure.
No, that's something.
I'm sorry.
I believe it's the same bill, I'm not sure, but if it does pass, it'll eliminate the 911 board, and the Emergency Management Commission will take over the duties of the 911 board, because the trustees will no longer be there. So I believe that's the same bill or a partnering bill with that.
I believe the bill has multiple divisions, fairly lengthy bill.
Pretty significant.
Very significant.
Yeah, I mean, there's been talk about, doing with township trustees for a long time. It's the first time I've seen an actual bill to do it. So, what traction it has, I guess, time will tell. And that's all I have.
Just one last question for you, unless these guys have something. Have you checked with your new board members to make sure that those board members are?
I have
taking
talked to one, I
IPIP
haven't
training?
talked to one, I haven't talked to the other.
Okay.
I haven't got the training schedule from Iowa State yet. It should be coming out here shortly. They do a training every spring and.
Oh, yeah, so I saw the extension office has something planned for planning and zoning, I guess like the 26th of April. Are you familiar with
Okay,
that?
well, I guess I missed it.
It's on their
I've been-
calendar.
I've been
was gonna ask
watching,
you
I've
about
been
that.
watching for it, so maybe I missed it.
Does that tie into the IPIP training that's required for closed sessions that we had talked about?
I'd have to look, normally not, normally
Okay.
it's a separate function, the extension comes out.
It's like,
and-
I know that you're talking about it in April, but we still need to make sure that we get those new people, Lynn and Marcus, tied in for the IPIP training for closed sessions.
Well, I mean,
And that's a web, so.
for Board of Adjustment and Planning Zoning Commission closed sessions, I've never held a closed session in almost
I understand.
24 years. It's just,
Still
there's very
mandatory.
little reason for those boards to go into a closed session.
Still a mandatory requirement, so we'll just have to get them on board.
Yeah, they'll all have to attend it.
And then they'll get a certificate for that, and then you need to keep those certificates in a file somewhere in case somebody ever questions if they've taken that training. Okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nicely done.
It's all yours.
Information tech, Gunner Sloan.
So, a lot of the, work this last week has been for budgeting.
Help there or what?
No, yeah. No, I guess just off in the distance. No, a lot of the, work for the IT department this week has been for getting ready for the budgeting process that we went through yesterday and, getting, a lot more firmer ideas where our infrastructure stands. Had a lot of meetings with LISCO about our current, internet service and networking that's provided by them, and ironing out a new contract, trying to get speeds updated and things of that nature. That's a lot of it. What it's been is working with LISCO and kind of assessing the network. We had some issues with the judicial building, and so they had some of the state IT down here, and we're looking into that as well. Last couple days.
Conversation wise, you've been talking with quite a few different people then from throughout the IT realm, right? So you've had
Yes.
some conversation with Mark Hahn and
Yep.
some conversations with like Civic Plus and Assembly and
Yes.
some of
Yep.
just
Solutions.
quick
Yeah.
overview on what you're doing there.
Yeah, so with Mark Hahn and some of the other ICIT members, just going over some of how they take care of their open records requests, just going through those procedures and how they handle those things, looking at just how
Process?
yeah, processes and things like that, and
Perfect.
how they holistically handle that with their department and how they interact with the board of supervisors, their attorneys, things like that. Solutions, just getting set up and reviewing our account and what contracts we have and what software we're getting through them. Some of the other ICIT members from different counties around here, just kind of getting an idea of how they operate and how we have similarities, and kind of getting me up to speed on some of the different things that are unique to county IT. Talked about LISCO. Talked to a couple other vendors for different softwares we purchase, and just getting ready for those renewals coming up in March. We have a lot of renewals that come up at the, near the end of our fiscal year. So,
Okay. And then from the budget side of things, you're working with the teams here to make sure we consolidate some of those things like printers and.
yeah, so I need to go around and we need to assess. I've not gone to each department yet and talked to them about their exact purchases and what they're doing with Access Systems, who provides our copiers, but
Yeah.
yeah, going around and seeing, yeah, I guess short answer is no, I've not done that directly yet.
Okay, but that's in your plan?
But it's in, yeah, that's in the scope coming up here.
Okay. And we'll just consolidate that out of the IT budget instead of the way
Yes.
it's been done in the past.
And then we're having some radio issues with one of our towers in Wayland that provide radio communications for secondary roads, and they'll be working with, I think Electronic Engineering is our vendor for that, working with them, getting that looked into, so we have that radio station fixed up in Wayland.
Okay. And you deployed a few laptops, is that right? too?
Yeah, I got a couple laptops out to people for upgrades, one down here and a couple other ones for people upstairs.
So we're making progress.
We're making some progress, we're making headway.
There you go, measurable, that's good.
No, you're spread pretty thin.
Anything else, Chad or Mark?
I don't.
Very good.
Really good, thank you.
Item letter D, Human Resources, you had that letter
I do.
from Paul.
So one of the things we want to try to do is keep our HR person involved as well. We've not done a very good job of that, and that's our fault, obviously, over the course of the last few years. But bringing Paul Groove back into the realm here so that we keep good contact with him and know what he's doing and how he's doing that, because that impacts all of you folks as well. So if you, Chad, you want to go through that, or you want me to?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so as you can see here, Paul has sent us a little update on what he's been doing. He's had a meeting on the 10th of February with the management team here, all of the department heads and elected officials, and some of the folks in the room here were with that, so if I missed something, feel free to holler and let me know, Kelly or Walt or whoever. Pardon?
It'll be
10th of
January.
January?
10th of February, I'm sorry, yeah. Did I say that?
It says February on there, but.
Yeah, it was 10th of January. But the next meeting is the 10th of February, okay? So he'll be here for that meeting in person as well, and he may be here for our department head meeting in the first week of February as well. So we had ICAP here. ICAP gave us a really good, thorough update. That was led by Adam, and he had a couple folks with him as well. So Megan and who's the other guy? Well,
Todd.
Okay. So it gave us a pretty good overview, and obviously their job is to mitigate risk, and went through that in pretty good detail. Talked a little bit about the department heads working together, looking at recruitment, selection, and hiring. And the intent here is to get a more formalized process so that we're all consistent, so that the county works together as a whole. And I think the team, for the most part, has bought into most of that with a checklist so that they can take a look at. And then also to consolidate what we do when we bring in new people, so physicals and paperwork and all of the things that need to be done. He's gonna lead that up and work with that, and then get back with Heidi on bringing those people into the insurance program and premiums and have FICA and IPERS and all the things that tied to that. But Paul is gonna lead that all up. No injuries this month, which is always a good thing. Safety committee is gonna meet again on the 10th of February as well. And one of the things, and Walt is here, so one of the things that Walt and Jacob both asked about is there's a budget that is allocated for safety. And that's something that we need you guys to get the safety committee together and talk through that, so that we know who's gonna be working through the system and allocating those dollars to make sure that everybody is all in sync and everybody knows who's doing what. So, Walt, anything at this point? Because you're gonna head that up, right?
Well, I've been asked to, I
You've
mean.
been nominated.
I mean, I hadn't been told.
You volunteered.
Haven't been told formally that from you guys that I am, but yeah. A lot of it is just combining some of the stuff that we're doing, that we're paying out. I think that's one of your points, here in a minute. On the first aid stuff, we're paying a lot of money for that first aid stuff that, between public health, myself, can go around and do, check AEDs, making sure they have Band-Aids, aspirin, Copacs. I noticed the bill this month, I mean, they put a Copac in and it was, I forget, was it $40, $60? I mean, it was some.
Hospital prices?
I think her hospital prices some too. I mean, it was ridiculous. So I think there's some of that stuff we can combine that, and take it out of the safety budget, so it's not coming out of Jake's, it's not coming out of conservation, it's coming out of the safety budget. So we can just combine that all into one pricing and save some money.
Yeah, so can you follow up with the department heads then? Because there was a comment here, obviously, about pulling together anything that they may be charged in their budget at this point in time to make sure that that falls in line so that everybody knows what dollars are being allocated today, so that we can consolidate that and work together.
Yeah, and you know, there's a lot of other things like the pest control, that I think we can consolidate and have Tyler do those, and that way we all don't have to be paying that out of our budgets.
Yeah, Chad has had that conversation with Tyler. I think that's.
Got some ideas kind of in place with Tyler and utilizing his services in some different aspects, you know.
I think it's a good idea, and we consolidate all that as best we
Yeah,
can.
we're duplicating a lot of services.
And I think there's only 2 buildings he was working on right now, from that perspective, from pest control. OSHA log completed and posted, so again, I think everything is clear there. Employee performance reviews, those were deadlined, to be done by the 1st of December. I know there's a few left out there. I talked to Paula a little bit about yours, so he'll get back with you on that. But anybody that hasn't got those completed and sent to Paul for review, please get that done so that we can move forward with any performance concerns or issues or opportunities as we get prepared to finish budgets up and look at potential allocations of county dollars here in the very near future. And you can see where he's already looked at 2 or 3 there. One of the things he did mention, obviously, is use SMART goals. I think most of you have heard him use that acronym before. I'm pretty familiar with those from my previous life. Specific, measurable, action, realistic, and a timeline. So those are goals that we need to be working for. We also talked a little bit about consumer price index. The consumer price index is the goal that we looked at, really the cost of living that everybody has been concerned about, and talked a little bit about that. Those 3 numbers that you put up there, or that you see on the board there. The average for that is 2.54%, so that's what we'll use, 2.55. We'll round it off here, so it's easy for everybody. But and talking with Paul, 2.55 will be the CPI number that we're going to use as we look at this year's compensation model. Chad or Mark, any?
I'm gonna roll back to Karosh. That is tracked all electronically. Everybody that is required to go online to do those things, that's all tracked, and that impacts our ratings. If they would ever have to go to litigation on that, the way I understand it, they look at those ratings. If they're below a certain performance standard, it doesn't look so good for the county, so we want to have those garage ratings up there in the compliance or above standards.
Yeah,
So I'd just like to see everybody take a few minutes, and that's what it literally takes, is just a few minutes to get it done. And get those done online, they're logged, they're out of the way that way. So I'd
And
like
to
to
Chad's
see
point, that goal is 80% completion by county employees, and we are currently at 55.69%. So we've got a ways to go. I think Jake is up to date, right? You've had your
maintenance
approach
appraiser, yeah.
But again, we're fairly significantly below what the 80% threshold is. And the reason that 80% threshold is there is because Karosh has a $100,000 insurance policy on us, and they can assure us that they will support us and use that if we hit that threshold of 80%. If we're below that 80%, it becomes questionable, and it's controversial, to say the least. So it would take some negotiations with Karosh, but if we can hit that 80% threshold, we'll be in really good shape to make sure that we get that coverage.
I'll be the first to raise my hand to say it's boring training, it is boring, but it's kind of one of the necessary evils that we need to plug through and get it done.
Do they still send out emails concerning that you're new?
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I
It's a
thought.
kind of a reminder type thing to get online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got one,
Yeah.
Roger, I have to get it done by the 2nd of February.
And if there's any IT type issues, call the number with them, and they said they will absolutely work out any connectivity with their programming and everything like that anybody would have, so.
On Crouch, didn't Paul say that he could do that training, through his services, so we didn't have to pay Crouch?
You did
That
mention
was
that.
ICAP. Yeah, ICAP.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask what is Karosh covering that's different than what ICAP is?
It was my understanding Karosh was covering everything that needed to be done, up to any other service providers.
We gave Caroche 1 year to prove themselves again, right now.
So to answer your question, Paul did offer the opportunity to be able to do that instead of Karosh, but we've not seen any format or tangible data that we can use or what his testing procedure would be.
Right.
So we had a cutoff deadline and we had to go with Karosh for that 1 year that Mark is talking about.
Right, I just think that would be a way to save some additional funding.
Maybe, yeah. But again, we have to see what he can do for us to make sure it works, so we can get that $100,000 indemnity on a risk management. So we have to weigh all that out as well, yeah. Anything else on that? Okay.
Moving to committee updates, safety, the Cintas consideration, we kind of talked about that a little bit, we'll discussion on that a little bit more. As Walt had indicated, a packet of aspirin shouldn't cost $3 or whatever it is. I mean, we can do better. I think we can do better than that, and then combine all of them from, the county offices, all in one type thing, so.
Anything else on that, Paul? Walt, you good? Okay.
I guess I just need to know if we need to start going out and checking them, or if they're still checking them for the time being until July, if we have a contract with them, or however that is. When do you want us to start going out and making sure that we're compliant and we have the aspirin and the co-packs?
That's a really good question, and I'm not sure we know that.
But we just need to know that whenever you guys
I
decide
think
that.
we need to get with Heidi and the auditor team and see if there's a contract in there and what that date is. Because again, I know that Gunner's been working through like a cajillion contracts and information, but.
And Cintas is one of those that have come through on the IT side that.
Yeah, shouldn't be there.
Yeah. Well, I think the former safety officer was also the IT guy, so he was handling both budgets where
Right.
I won't be in the future, so.
No, you won't, wait. Wishful thinking, right?
No, I'd be so sad if I didn't have to do another budget.
Okay, but yeah, we can follow up with Heidi and that team, we'll figure out where we're at, okay?
Okay, under other business, this business is not actionable items.
Go
ahead.
Is that where you
Yeah,
went?
yeah.
I thought you said that.
Yeah, I did. Go ahead.
Other committee updates, our own.
Oh, yeah.
You got one?
I do not, I have a Southeast Iowa Regional meeting today at noon, so I'll be scooting out of here.
I've had two, Great River Regional Waste Authority. We went over a 10-year model again, reevaluating that, seeing where we are for the future and planning ahead. And the biggest thing that we had was that afternoon was interviewing for a new general manager, which we are going to have by the end of March. And then also I had Southeast Iowa Community Action. The major issue there was our audit, going over that. And we had a new audit firm, and there were some variances that they wanted to see versus what the prior audit company had. No major findings, and it was just more of that it's like going from one program to another that makes sure everything is in sync. So it really was good. That was good.
All right, good, thanks.
Steve, do you have?
I do not, I have a Southeast Iowa, as I said, this afternoon, so I'm gonna scoot out here by 12:15 at the latest. And that's in Burlington.
And I did not. So we'll move over to the other business. These items are not actionable items right now, they're more just kind of basic general information. I did receive a report from Wamega Waste on some data needed to file with the Iowa Department of Natural Resources on cathode ray disposal. Like TV tubes, monitor tube, that type of thing. That all has to be separated and meticulously inventoried and weighed and everything, but Henry County disposed of 6,962.2 pounds of cathode ray debris. That all goes to a central collection point, and Wamega did a swell job on communicating that information with us, and DNR and everything like that. So that's a good deal. So. Then another item, we talked about some insurance deductibles on our county courthouse, on the specific construction style of our courthouse. It had been changed. Our agent had brought that to the company of the underwriters for reconsideration because we had been going off one standard, then they changed it, so we kind of brought that to attention. They looked it up, and they are willing to drop the deductible premiums for that by $9,000. So, you know, $9,000 is $9,000 in my mind on that one. He also had some other recommendations about raising or lowering other deductible amounts, which we just need to look at those figures and come to a consensus on what we want to do. Does the cost savings outweigh the risks, you know, everything of that nature, so.
Yeah, I think to your point there, Ted, we could put that on next week's agenda to make that an action item.
Yep.
Under new business, but it would be a benefit to the county to improve or to increase those deductibles, because it would pay off in the long run. You know, just to your point, property current value is a $2,500 deductible, which is pretty low for the value of the properties that we're dealing with.
You know,
I think that's what I have on my house. No, it's even less. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the risk and the cost is just factored out, and we'll figure that out and see if we want to amend our current policy to reflect that. So.
Okay.
We talked about Tyler Freeze kind of getting plugged into some of the other business type things in the county courthouse and county buildings. Tyler has agreed to handle security code administrative duties on that. So any building alarms, he'll be the person that goes to on that. I think he's been working with department heads and getting that information out, gathered.
Can I ask what the purpose of having two different codes were?
Everybody that will have access to the codes will have an individual identifier. That way it's a tracking mechanism.
So if I'm gone and my next in line is gone, what code are the rest of the girls supposed to use? The old code, or?
I think the old code will be gone.
Okay.
You'll have to come up with whoever you want to be those persons.
Well, right now it's me and Nancy, and if we're both gone.
And you have another deputy?
Cheryl, you want us to have 3 codes?
She could
For
have her
us.
own code. If you guys were absent, where she could come in and open shop and get that going.
So the point you said of seeing who's entering, what's the point of that?
For security, basic security. If I go into emergency management, use my fob, it records Chad entered that building at this time and date.
Okay, so the other 4 people in my office won't be able to enter until one of the 3 of us are there.
Yeah, unless you wanna get codes for all of them. That's an option.
And I don't know if that's an option you wanna do, or just have you and your deputies
I was
have
just-
that, or,
I
I
mean, he
mean,
just came
that's
around
kind of
and
a
asked if he wanted to
department,
make up another code, and I was like, okay,
that's kind of a department.
okay.
What do you got, Guy?
Well, we could also look into with, absolute security, there's a lot of absolutes and accurate securities companies we work with. One of those absolute or accurate companies that does our, security here at the buildings. We could see if we could get a fob, just attachment to those, so instead of having to punch a pin in, we could just tap a fob and we have plenty of fobs to issue out, and then people would just be responsible for their own fobs, and then it would be a true tracking of every person coming in and out of the building.
So like the fob that we used to get into the door down here.
Yeah.
Could be the same fob to get into our office or not?
And so
We
we'd
could
have
have
to talk to,
fobs.
well, I would hope we'd have to talk to the company and see what they would offer. But I think I think they integrate both of these together, so we'd have to check into that. But that could be an option too, I can look into, or Tyler and I can look into.
You know, if we can, I think it's way easier to carry one little fob than, you know, have multiples or multiple passwords or whatever.
Several different codes to get in,
Yeah.
I mean.
I get it.
I mean, if you're keeping track of me if I come in early, but then you're not keeping track of the rest of the girls.
But-
Cause I've turned off the alarm.
But you're there, I mean, you're department head, everything.
So, I'm just, from the road department, every employee, has their own unique code, and it just tells you that that's the person that is checking in. They're the first one that shows up, so for us, if they get called in for overtime and they come in to the office or to the shop, they have to punch in their code, and it tells me what their name is, and I'm like, yep, they're supposed to be there, and then I don't have any issues with the alarm goes off and it doesn't have somebody tracking. We didn't have that before, now it's been a pretty nice feature, so I don't think the code is like, you have to have a whole bunch of difference, be whatever that employee would want for their number digit code that you would assign to them.
Me personally, I kinda like the idea in that if you can take the fob that you're using down here to the fob, to keep that same fob upstairs. Yeah, I mean, we've already got one fob to get in the door, we have another fob to get into that door, everybody's already got a fob.
Yeah, if that's a capability, I
That's-
think
it's
that
at
would
least
be a
worth-
good idea.
yeah, It's at least worth looking into, so.
Otherwise, you double duty, I have a fob to get in the door and I have a code to get in
Yeah.
the office, and it's not that big of a deal.
No, I mean,
If one
If
works,
it's simple to make simple, why wouldn't? So,
Yeah.
we'll look into that.
that KISS principle.
Fair point, Walt.
Then, weed commissioner, and one of the other items that we're kinda exploring, doing some things is, with, engineer Hotchkiss and secondary roads and weed commissioner. Michael Yaley is the county weed commissioner. He would go out on like some private properties and work with the landowners about noxious, invasive weeds, spraying that type of thing, working with that landowner to eradicate that problem. If he sees something across the fence on the right of way, and it's a manageable, doable thing right away, it kinda makes sense to maybe just have him knock that out right then too, versus have it go back to, Jake and have that assigned out for their weed control people to go out and get that taken care of. It kind of a quicker and easier type thing. It's not taking away the right-of-way weed people. It's just, you know, if you got a few weeds here to take care of it. You know, you're there, get it taken care of type thing, so. But, Jake and, Michael and, Jeff, your husband, and everybody is having that on the 28th. Comments?
I was just giving Kelly grief.
But, having,
We're gonna have a joint meeting.
yeah, have a joint meeting
just
to
talk about-
hash the idea out, so.
And we'll probably look at some other things, like what's the focus of the noxious weeds in our county,
Yeah.
and making sure we're all on the same page between the weed commissioner and the road department for what we're attacking and what
then we'll plug that into, you know, the liability issues of having the weed commissioner working in the road right away and all that happy junk like that. But it's a work in process, so I don't think need to fret that a whole lot, so. Reminder for everybody to remove cell phones from county listings, personal listings.
I believe that was done for your request a couple days ago.
Yes.
Yeah, if we could get new ones out, that would
Send new ones out
be
temporarily.
greatly appreciated. And the reason for that, you see behind me, this stack of paper, 875 pages that I get to go through and redact anything that is personal or non-engaged in county business.
That's from your phone?
That's off my phone. Chad is in the same situation.
So what do we do for those departments that are required to be on call and don't have cell phones?
That we're working on that, Gunner. is
We're
in the
looking on
process.
getting on a county's phone plan to get phones issued out to
Because
everybody.
we are required to be on call for disease investigation and also
Yeah.
health alerts.
So what I think needs to happen is probably a department head meeting, and we need to go through who needs phones, how many. I'm meeting with one vendor today, T-Mobile, to see what kind of plans they have for government use, and then kind of get an estimate of what that would cost. But as far as the count of phones, I don't have a very clear count of who actually needs a phone.
You know, like in your department, there'd probably be a pass-around phone, whoever
Right,
would be
and
on
that
call.
would be appreciated, but we have like a first call, second
Yeah,
call, third call in case someone, you know, doesn't answer the phone for some reason, which it hasn't been an issue, but. you know,
I understand your
people-
concern, but I don't think you want to do this.
No, I
at some
don't,
point.
I don't, I would welcome a county phone, I don't
Yes.
do anything on my phone, but I have to have that listed on, like our health alert network and through CADE, our Centers for, Disease Investigation, because they have to have someone available at all times.
Yeah, so I think the Gunner's Pointer would be good for all the department heads and elected officials to get together who they think needs a phone. And on our meeting on the 10th with Paul, make sure you consolidate those numbers and give them to Gunner so that you guys can have that conversation on where we need to go.
And along the lines of this too, and I don't know if this is possible, but for the people that volunteer for our boards and commissions, they are using their personal emails right now. So I don't, what's that?
Probably not a
That's
good
what I'm
idea.
saying. Like, would it be feasible for them to have a county email? Because if they're using their personal emails, really that's open records to everyone. So I don't think that's fair to ask people who are volunteering for boards and commissions to have to use their email and put themselves in that position.
I'm agreeing with you because of,
Yeah, you understand now, right?
I understood before, I just
Yes.
didn't see the impact of it.
Yeah.
That's.
I'll ask around what the best way to handle that.
Amount of information,
I don't-
yeah.
Off the top of my head.
I know that's a lot for you to
Well,
do, but also.
And also giving volunteers a county email, I don't know what if you're treating them as a contractor, an employee, giving them their own email and, or how those relationships work. I'll figure that out with some
You
of
know,
the other
maybe
IT
that would
people.
be stopping in there and checking your computer, you know, at your facility or something of that nature too, so, I don't know.
Yeah.
That yet to be determined, it sounds like, so.
That would work. Wishful thinking, yeah.
Things happen. Reminder, January 27, 2026, the next Board of Supervisor meeting at 9 a.m. So,
I think we have two more things to add to other business.
Oh, okay. I handed you out, and Heidi, I will get you copies of this, okay? We have our commissioners meeting coming up today at 3 o'clock, and one of the things that we're gonna be discussing is, I would assume you received an email from the governor's office concerning, the Department of Veterans Affairs and Service Officers in counties that are at 20 hours a week. She's proposing that they all go to 40. And that's in front of the board right now, okay? The other thing that I handed you out was her concerns about the Iowa veterans, for the state of Iowa, there's 178,000, okay? And she wants to encourage people to get more disabilities and claims filed, okay? And that's one of the things that she put out, is that she's offering I guess, an additional $5,000. Right now, our grant is $10,000. And if you're in the upper third, you'll receive an additional $5,000, okay? And we use our $10,000 for advertising and things that we do at Old Threshers and meetings that we have and things like that, which is a good thing. We're in the upper third right now, okay? And so we're looking pretty good there, but I think it's going to continue to grow and get better, okay? And I handed you out a copy of this, which came out. And some of the information that she has received in making these decisions has not been accurate. It's been provided to them by the Camp Dodge IDBA, and some of those things aren't accurate. But the handout that I give you guys every month is from the regional office, which is the VA regional office in Des Moines, okay? And this comes directly from the VA. And as you can see right now, for the month of December, we're at $751,948 a month that veterans receive for Henry County. And in November, when I gave you out that copy for November, we were at $726,510. So we increased by $25,438 in a month. And you will probably see that increase, because I went through and counted how many claims we have filed and how many have not been decided yet, and there's 24 of them. And that's where it sits right now, and the VA's got to make a decision on those. Once those decided, you should see that increase too.
Do you have a ballpark idea of dollars on that?
No, I don't make those decisions. Some of them could be up to 100% in actuality, and some of them may only be 10 to 20, okay? So it depends on what the raters do and what the medical records say and things like that. So all I do is file the claims, I put down the medical records, and if they have copies of them, I send it in with the claim, which should cut the time of the VA having to go and look and find all the medical records and all this other stuff. They'll just verify them and make sure they're accurate, and then they'll go from there. And that's why I send in the medical records. And so, like I say, I think I mentioned it before, aid and attendance is a big claim, okay? There's a lot of pieces of paper to it. Some of them can be up to 60 pages, okay? Federal paperwork is just not one piece of paper, okay? So we have to send in a bunch of documentation, and family members have a great deal of work to do to get all the information that they need to put it together, okay? So that we can get it sent in. So that's where we stand right now. And that's basically, I think about 10 of those are for aid and attendance for people that are in nursing homes. That's out of the 24. So, which is a good thing because it offsets the cost of the nursing home. And nursing home expenses aren't cheap, okay, over a month's period of time. So, and some of them can run up into the $8,000 mark a month. So that's what I wanted to bring in today. Normally I would be at our department head meetings, but I have a meeting in February on the date that the department head meeting is on, so that's why I'm here today. So
Thank you. Good information. And really good job on bringing the dollars in, $751,000.
Okay.
That's pretty substantial.
Very good.
Hate to lose that.
Yeah.
About $9 million a year you're bringing in, Roger. You got a good return on your money.
Yeah. Very good.
I think it's important to also point out that Roger don't only help Henry County people, he helps people in surrounding counties and other states.
Yes.
And so that 750 is only for Henry County people.
Right.
That's not counting the other people from the other counties and states that he helps.
Yeah,
So I think Roger should be commended for that.
We see a lot of people from Missouri and Illinois because they don't have the availability of CVSOs in every county. And I'm not talking bad about the VA systems there, but I'm just saying that they don't have a representative for them to go see, and that's why they come and see me, okay? And that's a good thing, because my commission is very strict about that. is that we won't let them take priority over Henry County veterans, but no veteran walks away unattended, okay? And that's the whole thing. And we have, at our breakfast, we have a lot of people come up from, close Missouri and also in Illinois. They come to the breakfast over here for information because we have Iowa City speakers come down from the VA and speak and things like that. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And it communicates and represents us well. So.
Good job. Appreciate it. Thanks.
You do a really good job, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further in other business?
Yeah, I have one thing I'd like to discuss with you two right now, and then we can take it up later. But I would like for us to consider abolishing the county compensation board. And the reason for that is because consistently, since I've been engaged in this, they come back with the same information. It's up to 10% for elected officials for a salary increase on each year. That board's dominated by one or two people, so there's not a whole lot of consistency and input from other folks, unfortunately. It sets an expectation from those elected officials and the assessor that we're gonna go to that 10%. We've seen that in some of our budget reviews where folks are saying they're gonna put a 10% in, so it varies, it's across the board. So I think it's confusing. We have a new compensation model that would take care of everything that we're talking about today, because we're also looking at cost of living time now, as where we had never done that in the past. So I think our compensation model would replace anything that we need to be concerned about from that perspective. We have neighboring counties that have already abolished their compensation boards, and they did it for the same reasons. You know, the only pro I can see the compensation board is that the elected officials get some input into what their salary increase could be or should be, but obviously that's slanted to getting the most that they possibly can out of the system. I don't blame them, but again, it really goes against the trend. So I don't think that a 10% cap, even if the cap is realistic, not in today's economy, but in any economy. If you look at any competitive business throughout our community, I'd be surprised if people are getting more than a 2 or a 3% increase in salary. So again, I would like for us to take that under consideration in the near future to abolish the compensation board. That ties back to Iowa Code 331-905, bullet point number 7. And we have the power to do that as supervisors.
Hearing nothing more on that, I'll move into public comment. Board welcomes public comments. This is kind of a new agenda for them, so we're kind of adjusting things around a little bit. The board welcomes public comment on items not listed on the agenda. You are asked to state your name and address for the board and limit your comment to 3 minutes per person to allow opportunity for others to speak. So, public comment section at this point in time, so.
Melanie Patton, rural Trenton. A couple things I wanted to bring up is I've attended the budget meetings this week and plan to attend the rest of them, and I think it's great that obviously they're open meetings according to code, but I think it's important that people are aware and understand what's happening and how their money's being spent. So I would encourage other members of the public, thanks to John for recording them, to watch those, because what I'm seeing is some similarities but also some differences in how those are presented. So I think maybe it would also help the department heads to see how other department heads, if you're doing it at the same time, you would see those department heads, but not all department heads too. Check that out and maybe take some tips. I've learned a lot just in 2 days. So I'm appreciative of that opportunity. The other thing is, it was brought up about the separate email. Is that something for boards and commissions? Is that something that could be a process offered where you could kind of outline how people could make up a separate Gmail for themselves, so it wouldn't be a county email, but it would be a separate email for any business, like it would be Board of Health Katie kind of thing at Gmail or something. That might be another possibility that would bring it outside of a county email, but still give them a separate email that would be their contact point for boards and commissions. That came to me while you guys were talking, so thank you.
Bill.
William Crawford, rural Winfield. It's on my birth certificate. In regards to these 875 pages of information, are you completely assured this is not coming from a bot? I mean, we all know we're not supposed to answer our potential spams. In this case, a potential scam. Do we have an identity? A person or an entity?
We can say with high confidence that it's a real person sending it. It's not generated from AI from what we can, that's not a concern we have right now.
Okay, is the email public? Do we have access to that email?
I don't know if I can share that or not.
I don't know either, I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say I'm not gonna share because I don't wanna do that if I can't.
I understand.
Yeah, we need to ask the attorneys if that's something we can address publicly like that.
Well,
I understand it's open records, but I don't know if that means I can. But
I think I understand.
there's no meaning behind it. I just don't know if I can say the email address or whoever sent it out loud.
Right.
So, but with high confidence, it is a person.
Okay. Question answered.
Anybody else? Appreciate everybody coming to it. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded, adjournment. Raise your left hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Well, there you have it. Another episode of Podcast Excellence. Please do me a favor and give this episode a like, follow, and subscribe. It's free. Thanks for watching. And of course, thanks to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, CW Tree Trimming LLC, and Iowa Technology Systems. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.